Hello, everybody. Welcome to inventory part 18. This is weighted moving average perpetual inventory costing. So just a kind of a little bit of a background. When I am seeing if an accounting instructor can teach, this is by far one of the greatest questions to teach because this is tough. If you can explain this as an instructor, and I'm not saying that I can do it better than anybody else, but if you can go through and explain this, you can go through and do it. Now, with these perpetual methods, and I kind of mentioned this on the last video, one of the things I don't say enough is that you have to practice. You have to physically write out these questions that I'm showing to you. My job is to make it easy and make it digestible, but you have to go through and practice, because if you don't practice, when you come to a test, if it's pencil and paper, right? Or if you have a teacher that's lazy and you're on Chegg, right? Well, that's a little bit of a different thing. Then don't come and talk to me about when you don't understand it. This is what you have to go through and do. So with weighted average perpetual, right? If we kind of remember going back over here to weighted average periodic, we were taking a weighted average, but we went through and did it at the very end of the accounting period. What we're going to be doing now over here is, because it's perpetual, the dates matter. It's like an episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Dates are very, very important. I don't know what I'm going to do with this amazing cost of goods sold. So what I'm going to have to go through and do over here is kind of determine the weighted average on the date of sale by creating a cost pool. I'm going to assign the dollars to cost of goods sold, remove what was assigned from the cost pool in the step above, add new purchases, determine a new weighted average. We're going to assign dollars to cost of goods sold, and then we're going to do a check our work. So let's go through and do it. Okay, so right over here, we're being asked to do the same things. Remember, goods available for sale, 249,000 units. Units available for sale, 16,500. Units sold, 6,500 units, and ending inventory is 10,000, right? Those are always going to be the same for this particular set of problems. Now, when I'm going through, and I'm going to do something a little bit differently here when it comes to weighted average. I'm going to say over here, my sale date is going to be 2/4/23. My units sold, and then my cost per unit over here, my units sold was 2,500. My average, my weighted average cost per unit, I don't know what this is yet, but we will figure it out. And this is going to be my amount to cost of goods sold. Over here, my next date of sale was 2/8/23. I sold 4,000 units. I'm going to need to figure out what is my weighted average cost per unit. Then I'm going to multiply my units sold by the weighted average cost per unit. And that's going to give me my cost of goods sold. So I'm creating this little chart over here just to kind of remind myself in terms of what I have to do. Remember over here too, my units sold has to equal over here 6,500. Also remember too, once we have our goods available for sale, we subtract our cost of goods sold. This is going to give us our ending inventory value. So we have that to help us as well. So let's get to it. Now, to take a weighted average of our inventory, so basically on 2/4/23, 2,500 units were sold. So I need to figure out what is my weighted average. Okay, so my cost units over here on 2/1/23, my beginning inventory of 3,000 units had a total value of $30,000, right? So my cost of the inventory was 30,000, or 3,000 times 10. I'm going to basically divide this by the number of units, or 3,000. Okay. So what do I go through and do next? Let's give ourselves a little bit more room. So over here, I had another purchase, right? I sold it on February 4th. None of this down here has happened yet, right? We're going in chronological order. So I can only look at what's there right now. So I had another purchase right over here. So I had a purchase on 2/2/23. That amount was 24,000. This was a total of 2,000 units. Okay, so right over here. So when I add up basically AAA plus BBB, so my cost pool, right? Cost pool pre 2/4/23 sale is going to be 30,000 plus 24 divided by 5,000 units, or a weighted average cost per unit over here. This is going to be 54,000 divided by 5,000, or $10.80. I'm spending more time doing this because this is what you're going to have to know how to do. This is by far the hardest method of all of them. Even in my intermediate accounting section, it throws students, right? Because I cover this in lower division. This is by far the hardest concept of inventory costing. So right over here, what did I do? I had a sale date here on February 4th. I have to take a weighted average of what is in my inventory. Okay, so once this is over here, I sold 2,500 units. What was the weighted average cost of my inventory? Well, I paid 54,000 for it, and this is for 5,000 units. So right over here, my weighted average cost per unit is $10.80. So the amount that I'm going to be assigning to cost of goods sold is going to be for $27,000. Now, once I sell something, I have to remove it from the cost pool, right? So I'm going to call this post 2423 sale, right? So I'm going to take over here my CCC, or my cost pool pre 2423 sale. Okay, and this is going to be 54,000 unit, $54,000 divided by over here by 5,000 units. Okay, so this is my cost pool pre-sale. Now I sold over here. So I assigned $27,000 to cost of goods sold, right? The 2,500 units that I sold times 1080. So over here, if I go here and use this, my total amount here of my cost pool post 2423 sale is going to be 27,000 divided by 2,500. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Oh, yeah, it does, because basically I sold half of the inventory that was there. And so this is now what I have remaining. Okay, very important step. This is really usually what screws up students. Okay, so now I've done the cost pool post 2423 sale, and I'm now ready to go on to the next one, right? So over here, we determined the weighted average, assigned it to cost of goods sold, we removed it, and now I'm ready to go to my next sale date on February 8th, 2023. When I go to on 2/8/23, I sold 4,000 units are sold. Okay, so what was in my inventory? Well, I have my cost pool post 2423 sale, and this over here is going to be 27,000 divided by 2,500 units, right? I remove the old stuff out. If you don't do this, it's not going to work out. So what I'm going to now go through and do is, this is my old one, and I'll just kind of highlight this here so you can kind of see where it's flowing. Okay. Now, did I make more purchases? The answer is yes. I made a purchase on 2/5/23. On 2/5/23, I purchased $21,000 worth of inventory, and this was for 1,500 units. On 2/7/23, over here, I purchased $30,000 worth of inventory, and this was at 2,000 units. So, and we'll call this over here. So let's see here. So over here, my cost pool okay, right over here, so my cost pool post or a pre 2/8/23 sale is going to be 78,000 divided by 6,000, or a total over here of $13 per unit. Okay, so this is my $13 per unit. I'm going to go ahead and assign this over here to my cost of goods sold. And let's go ahead and put this over here. So I've got 52,000. Once I come over here and show this amount coming through, what I can now go through and do is say, oh, my cost of goods sold is 79,000. I do not have any other sales, so I'm done. Right over here, my goods available for sale was 249,000. My cost of goods sold right over here was 79,000. So the value of my ending inventory should be 170,000. Okay, so is that $170,000 correct? And the answer is, I don't know. Let's check this out. So this last step here is something that you do not have to do, but I'm going to strongly recommend that you do it when you're first starting out, which is check my work. Okay, how do we check our work? Well, after the very last sale, what we're going to do is we're going to take our cost pool pre-2/28/23 sale. Our cost pool pre-2/8/23 sale was over here at 78,000 divided by 6,000. Okay, so this is my cost, and then this is my units. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to remove the sale. Okay, so right over here. So I sold 52,000, and this was relating to over here 4,000 units. So my cost pool post 2/8/23 sale. Wow, spelling's just off today. Okay. So over here, this is 26,000 divided by 2,000. So this is my cost pool post 2/8, that's February 28th, 23 sale. Now, the challenge I have though is how many units do I have in my ending inventory? Well, I've got 10,000 units in ending inventory. So why is this not adding up? If I take my cost pool post 2/8/23 sale, and then I add in my purchase from 2/8/23 to 2/28/23. So right over here, my cost post sale, 26,000 divided by 2,000. Over here, I add in my purchase that I made over here of on 2/28/23, right? I had a purchase after my last sale. This is going to be 144,000 divided by 8,000. So my ending inventory is going to be 26,000 plus 144 divided by 10,000, or 170,000. Now, this is very important, right? Why? This 170 is exactly what we computed to be up here. What's the other part of this? This 10,000 units. Oh, this is the number of units we have in our ending inventory. It's one of the constants. Do you have to do this step? The answer is no. Do I recommend it as you're learning these questions? The answer is absolutely yes. So I'll come back in with a last video to kind of go through and wrap things up, but let's go ahead and put our values in over here. And with that all being said, I want to thank you for joining me here today on this weighted average perpetual journey. I apologize for this video taking so long, but it's one of the ones that you can't help but go long. Just put me on fast times 3 speed, or short and slow me up. But anyways, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and we'll talk soon. Have a great one.